I feel very positively about the collaboration between Hunter College and Tectonic Theater Project. We feel very strongly about teaching a generation of students to listen to the theater and to be able to analyze the theater in this way, because you're not only training students to go on and do theater, but you're also training students to watch theater, to analyze theater, to know how to process this kind of theater.
Why are you always leaving?
Are you mad, Madeline?
She's so weird.
Madeline, it's time to go to the resource room.
Speak!
My name is Andy Paris, and I'm teaching the 2015 Tectonic Theater Project class, which is really a class about moment work, which is the technique that Moises Kaufman and myself and the rest of the members of Tectonic Theater Project created to help us form our work. You know, the way that a play is normally formulated is someone goes into a very small room somewhere and writes a script, and then they give that script to a director who then hires a bunch of actors, and they try to realize that script and they try to make that script true. And this work allows you to kind of go the opposite way. So you're playing with the elements of the stage, seeing what story comes out of those, finding the poetry of props and sound and shape and movement, and starting there, before you have a story, before you have any text, and playing with those things. And then once you have those moments, which are units of theatrical time, you can then layer them and sequence them, and it's a way of playing with theatrical structure. So tectonic means the art and science of structure. So we're interested in how narratives are created. Once I introduced them to the technique of moment work, then we introduced this theme of identity. And we were talking about not only how we identify ourselves, but what it means to put a label on something. We even talked about botanists and how they classify things, and our seeming general societal human need to put things in boxes. The written material is generated by the students. But then sometimes I would ask them, oh, well, why do you feel that way? Was there something that happened to you that made you feel that way? And all of a sudden, these amazing stories started to come out. They'll bring in moments where collectively they'll work on them, but it's one person's moment, and I'll work with them individually on how their moment is forming, what they're working with, what kind of forms they're working with, what they're interested, what they're trying to communicate, and then I can feed back to them what I'm seeing and hearing.
My great-grandfather, Egidio Viola, came to this country in 1894 with only $12 in his pockets. He worked on the Lower East Side as a tailor until one day owning his own shop.
I love teaching at CUNY because there are real people here. They're going through their lives. They're working. They have family. They're here in New York. And I think that it allows, if you ask them, what's going on for them, it allows for them to bring their lives into the theater.
I get cast as the lead in a play. Then I get 104 fever and I can't perform. I can't get sick anymore. Help me! Stop eating wheat. Stop eating dairy. Stop eating sugar. Stop eating everything.
I knew of Tectonic's work, and I had seen several of their plays, but I had never worked on it as a practitioner of any kind. And it's really made me sort of rethink the possibilities that the stage can offer us.
Tectonic Theater Project was formed around a dissatisfaction with what we were seeing in the theater world around us, that we felt like there was a lot of theater that was happening that could happen on TV or in a film. And so we were dedicated to trying to find what is inherently theatrical. What can the theater do that other media cannot?
Somatoform disorder.
On some level, that was really freeing, being able to just be like, okay, this is all new, just start from scratch, try something and see what happens.
I think there's no going back at this point. I feel like there's the before and now there's the after. So it's really taking a step back and really trusting yourself more, not only yourself, but everything that's around you.
What I was surprised by with this class is that they were such good listeners. They really they listened, they were committed, and it taught me a lot about what it means to be in your own skin, to be present.
It's been a wonderful opportunity as a Hunter student, as a human being, to be able to work with Andy and be able to create all of this beautiful work that we get to showcase to everyone, and with my fellow students. Working with everyone has been fantastic.
I think these opportunities of bringing in professionals into an educational setting are, they're few and far between, and I think when something like this is presented to you, you really have to take advantage of it.
I think you'll like him.
Gemma, it's important that you remember how incredibly young you are. You're only 20 and you're having fun, but one day you will meet the right man for you.
And whatever they do, a theatrical education is incredibly useful in the world, to be able to communicate. I mean, really that's what this comes down to, is how do we communicate our ideas? And how do we listen to what's being communicated to us? And that is something that is somewhat lacking sometimes in our culture and our society.